can use this.
Thank you.
Well, shall we? It is 5 p.m. And I would like to call this meeting to order. Tag meeting for, excuse me, January 3rd, 2024. You always tell me we don't need to call roll. So.
No, just announce that a quorum is present.
Yeah, I will announce, and there's Brandon, and I will announce that quorum is present. Well,
Just some introductions, would
you like to do
just
some
new
introductions?
faces, just so
Okay.
people know each other.
Okay, we'll go around and introduce ourselves then. Would you like to start, Dave?
Sure, I'm Dave Nakagawara, second meeting for me. Yes,
Representing from the port, engineer at the port of Port Townsend?
yeah, Port Townsend's good.
You work with Matt Klotz?
Yes, I do, I work for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
All right.
And with them, yeah.
Which is great.
Tim Caldwell, and citizen at large on the advisory committee, and now running a golf course.
Awesome.
Something new on your plate. Debbie Yankee, I guess I'm at large too. I don't know what I represent. Anyway, I'm currently the chair. Thank you. Would the folks on the screen like to introduce themselves?
Sure. I'm Becky Kimball. This is my first official meeting, and I've had many unofficial meetings, and just a citizen at large that wants to get people on the bus.
There's obviously no enthusiasm for your presence, Becky. Everybody's cheering. Brandon?
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Maxwell. I'm actually an engineer for the state, but I'm here representing myself as a personal citizen who's just a fan of transit.
Thank you. And John?
Yes, I'm John Fresca. I'm here. I'm a board member of the DASH project, and also a member of the ACAC, the Accessible Communities Advisory Committee, and I'm a very avid transit user for all of my life. So glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Okay, had enough of an introduction. Okay, let's move on. Calling this meeting to order, and now we have public comment. If there is any public comment.
Citizen at large.
Okay, I did.
Obviously no enthusiasm. Okay, and do you need them to be introduced? You know them.
No, I see their names underneath their pictures there, so I'm fine.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's start with any public comment. Is there any public present in the chat in the meeting? So there's no public comment. Okay, then we will move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have any changes or concerns about the consent agenda, or would you like to approve the consent agenda as it stands?
Looks fine to me.
Okay. Everyone agrees?
Agreed.
Okay, would somebody like to move to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve it.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Becky seconds. No further discussion since it's a consent agenda. And all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, consent agenda is approved. JTA board update. Commissioner Dean, are you going to give us an update?
Sure, and as usual, I'll need Nicole maybe to help fill in the cracks when I've forgotten. And Councilmember Thomas is here also, so maybe he can help me out. So at our meeting in December, we passed a budget, which is the most important policy document the most important work we do really as a board. And just great to see robust sales tax, which is such an overwhelming amount of our operating revenue, that continues to be very strong and above budget. The new budget did include having the Kingston Express be fare free, and it sounds like that kicked off this week, which is exciting, and been seeing some buzz on social media about that, which is exciting. We finalized the drug and alcohol policy for operators, which that was a many-year conversation, and appreciate staff doing the heavy lifting to try to thread a difficult needle. But I think people all felt satisfied that we had done that successfully, or largely Nicole had done that, and with great sensitivity to a challenging set of both kind of opinions and also legal frameworks to navigate. What am I forgetting? Ben or Nicole? Those were my highlights.
Those were, yeah, I think you nailed it. Oh,
Maybe one more, which was just getting an update on the climate action plan. And so I should glance and see if we have anything on the agenda today about that. We do. So I will not go into that, but a lot of excitement from the Transit Authority Board for the climate action plan.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Thomas, did you want to add anything?
No, I didn't hear the whole update, so I trust Kate got it right. I was setting up another video for my son so I could do it.
Thank you. Okay, so we will then move on. Thank you for that update there, Commissioner Dean. We will move on to JTA, to the general manager update, and that would be our general manager, Nicole Gauthier.
hello, I'm so excited to have so many new faces here. First, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
I am talking to you from a business center at a hotel here in Georgia. We had an unexpected death in the family, so I am
sorry.
in Georgia for a funeral, but I wanted to definitely be here for this meeting because I just do really appreciate all of you taking the time to help Jefferson Transit be a really great transit agency. So excited to be here. I wanted to add this topic to today's meeting because I think it's important. Commissioner Dean had touched on the authority board passing the budget, the 2024 budget, and that budget really does set the stage for what staff will be working on in 2024. And I think it's important that this group is also aware of what projects, what we're working on, what's consuming our time in 2024. So I'm going to rattle off just a list of things that we're excited about to be starting and to projects that we're carrying on into 2024. The first one I won't talk too much about, Kelly will touch on it later, is a new website. That website is really going to lay the foundation for some additional services that we'd like to provide in the future. But we need a new website in order to do that. And I'm thinking like a Where's My Bus app, something along that lines. We need a good, strong website that will support that kind of service. So that's a task that we're taking on right away in 2024. The climate action plan will be consuming a lot of staff time this year, and we will touch on that again later in the meeting. We've also budgeted for a comprehensive operational analysis. And this type of plan is something similar to what Clallam Transit participated in prior to launching their microtransit or on-demand transit. It's something that Island Transit also looked at before they started launching and changing some of their services. It's also Skagit Transit did this as well. I think this is going to be really impactful to have a consultant come in and tell us, well, what are we doing well? What can we be doing better? What should we be thinking about as far as either adding service or amending service, modifying service, adding an on-demand component. If we want to look at a Sunday type of service, all of this information that we're going to get from this consultant, I think is really going to help us formulate a better plan for how we can really take a good hard look at what Jefferson Transit is currently doing and what we can be doing better to better serve our entire community. So we're really excited about that. I have on my list Haynes Place redesign. I know that we had, some of you know, we had started working on a redesign project during the tail end of COVID. Our ideas outgrew our scope. So the scope that, you know, for the RFQ that we put out. So we paused that project, and I think rightfully so. It didn't feel like the best time to be thinking in that kind of scale. We knew some staffing changes were going to happen. It was also right after the pandemic. There was just a lot happening. I think we're better. I think we're going to be better positioned to start that process over again. What we would like to do is put out an RFQ this year, and just start identifying a consultant that can help us look at a redesign. What does that look like? Right now, there are some programs for grant funding. We would need grant funding for this type of project. So that's something that we're looking at restarting in 2024. We, as all of you know, we do have an electric bus. Our plan A for this electric bus, for charging this bus, was to install inductive charging. That is still a goal of ours. We had to switch gears this past year because of supply chain issues. We were not able to procure the electrical panel, which would be needed to install the inductive charging. So as you know, we purchased a plug-in charger, which is working just fine, but we're sticking with our original goal. We want to have inductive charging here at 63 Four Corners. So that's a carryover project. Our electrical panel is on order. We should receive it in October. So staff is right now working on getting quotes for inductive charging. Our hope is, and this is a hope, is that we will have our inductive charging installed, and once we have our panel, then it will all come online. So our hope is towards the end of October that we be able to use inductive charging at 63 Four Corners. We are also in the process of completing our design for our third maintenance bay. We will be putting out an RFP for a project manager to help us construct that third maintenance bay. We will be self-funding that maintenance bay. So that's a project that is a carryover project, but we're excited to make some traction on that. Our facilities building, which will be in the location just across from the parking lot. So it's all trees right now, but we are looking at adding our facilities building there. That facilities building is needed because the third maintenance bay will remove our facilities area as it sits now. So we've been working on this project actually for a very long time. We're waiting for permits to be approved from the county, and then my hope is that we will be able to start that project late spring. Paratransit software, that's one of Sarah's projects this year, is to replace our Route Match product that we're using, and look at something that will work for paratransit, but also maybe a component for on-demand transit as well. So thinking ahead of what kind of software will work for our Dial-A-Ride, but then also will it be able to work for us if we're moving into the on-demand area as well. So that's exciting, and Sarah will be heading up that project. This year we are wanting to really do a kind of a public campaign to highlight our van pool program. Some of you may know, but once COVID hit, we lost all of our van pools. We still have the equipment for van pool, and we have the ability to run a van pool program. We just don't have anyone participating. 2024, Sarah is going to help us kick off just a program to look at how is our pricing structure, what can we be doing better, how can we make this service more attractive to the community. And I think this push to really inform the community about this service, and then kind of see what happens from there. Is the community responsive? Are they interested in a van pool program? But I think some of those answers will kind of help direct us in the future. So Vanpool, internally, we are still trying to get our ridership up to 2019 levels. We're doing well. I think I've been talking about this, but our Brennan route is really performing well, as well as some of our other routes. We are not quite there yet, and that is still our goal, is to exceed 2019 ridership levels. Also this year, we staff are going to take a good look at all of our policies and refresh all of our policies. I think it's important that they all get each policy gets a fresh set of eyes. We're going to take a look at what needs to be updated. Some of our policies were written on a typewriter. So I think that means that it's time to kind of look and make sure that they're still relevant, that they're still aligning with all of our other policies. Lastly, but certainly not least, a topic that's going to take up a lot of time in the second half of 2024 is our contract negotiations with HEU Local 587. So that's more of a behind the scenes project. You can't help with that, but just know that that will be consuming a bunch of our time, is making sure that we negotiate a good contract with the union. So just wanted to spend a few minutes just kind of letting you know what we're looking at, what we're thinking about for 2024.
Thank you. Questions for her? Go ahead, Tim.
Yes, that is a full plate. That's amazing. The consultant that is looking at the at transit overall, I'm assuming there's what is that scheduled to start? And I'm assuming that's going to require a lot of community input. Is that it's not just an in-house
Comprehensive
oversight?
Operations analysis?
Yeah.
Yeah, the comprehensive operations analysis?
Yeah.
Yes, I really what the consultant will be doing is kind of taking a look at what we're currently doing. But yes, there will be opportunities for the community to weigh in. I see maybe this group playing a role in working with the consultant.
Do you have a possible timing of that? When this project will start, what the calendar might look like?
We are looking at putting out the RFQ. I would probably say in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We are trying to stagger some of our projects. Kelly is, and I'll let her talk about this, and she's heading up our website project. But that RFQ went out already. And we have the climate action plan that is, we'll also talk about, that is starting. So we want to get a few things underway before we start on getting this RFQ out. But I would say by the end of January, we hope to have the RFQ out. Typically, we like to have those out for 2 to 3 weeks before we start the evaluation process. So early 2024 is when we would start this process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any questions up there in the? Kate, go ahead, please. Commissioner Dean.
And sorry, this isn't really a question, but I forgot probably one of the most important things that we did do in the JTA meeting, which was completed the performance review of Nicole. And there was just, exceedingly positive feedback from those of you who participated in that, the board, and staff who were interviewed as part of that process. And so I think we hear in Nicole's report all the great work that she's doing, and that was fully recognized by the board. So sorry I left that out.
It was almost embarrassingly positive. Well deserved.
Don't let it go to your head, Nicole. Okay?
I will.
Well, maybe a little bit. You can do a little bit. She gave herself relatively lower scores,
So was there anything negative?
There is any review needs to have areas for improvement. And so, yes, there was some nudging in certain directions. And if the review didn't have that, then I would not probably take the review very seriously. So I think there are some things that we would like to have happen moving forward. And some good constructive feedback was given. And but overall, it was nice to hear from the board. It was nice to hear from TAG and staff about where we're at and where we can be going and where we think we can be by the end of next year. So it was good.
Any other questions for Nicole at this time on her overview? No,
I think
okay.
Brandon has his hand up.
Oh,
I do, yes, and well deserved, Nicole. Thank you. Thank you for all the good work you've been doing. I have a question. What's the difference between the charging that you guys have now and the inductive charging? I'm assuming it's a speed thing.
Good question. Right now we have a plug-in charger, which is the equivalent of a level 3 charger for a car. So it's above ground and you physically plug it in. The inductive charging or electric bus, we ordered it with charging at the bottom of underneath the bus. So what it'll do is it'll pull into a spot and the vehicle will kneel down in the front. It'll get closer to that plate that's in the parking spot, if you will, and then it will charge that way. So it will be wireless.
That's so cool.
It's like taking a drink from a fire hose.
And, I think this will, part of our Haynes Place redesign is it's going to be imperative that we have inductive charging at Haynes Place.
That was my question.
To better utilize the electric bus or utilize it in a way that we're using the biodiesel buses now. So not having to come back to 63 Four Corners to charge, but be able to charge en route. And then it could just stay, it could stay down at Haynes Place all day without coming back. So better use of the equipment.
That's huge. Is there any discussion at Kitsap or Clallam about putting in any kind of charging units or at their station?
Kitsap Transit, speaking with John Clausen, their executive director, his goal is to have inductive charging at North Viking Transit Center. And he has said, you're more than we'll get you charging there, once we have it in. So yeah, those relationships are really important. Right now, I don't know that Clallam is looking at electric. They've been kind of kicking around the idea, I think, of hydrogen. I don't want to speak out of turn. So I would say we're pretty far off from having inductive charging at the Sequim Transfer Center, but more likely at North Viking in Kitsap.
Great, thank you.
It's a bigger pathway.
Anything else to ask Nicole, or should we move on here? Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead. Scott.
Nicole, the buses that have inductive charging, will they also have physical connection charging capabilities also?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is that it? Okay.
I had a question for Nicole too. Nicole, on the inductive charging, is the speed kind of comparable to a Type 3 charger?
Yes.
Okay.
And you have the ability to regulate the speed in which the vehicles are charging. So if it's not necessary to do a real fast charge, you can slow that charging down. So that's, the technology is really advanced. So you don't have all of your vehicles at a real fast charge if you don't need it. So for instance, if they're coming in and spending 8 hours on the charger, you can slow that charge down, which is helpful for the battery, but also for our rates.
Now later it would be, as we get further along on that, be cool to see a demonstration or maybe a presentation on that. I know we could probably look it up on YouTube, but it'd be cool. Yeah.
We want to see it on our bus.
Yeah, we want to see it.
little
Yeah, we're all selfish nerds. We want to see this cool stuff on our buses. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same system you have for your electric toothbrush, which actually
I don't
doesn't
have an
work.
electric toothbrush.
I go old school.
Too. I'm all made.
Okay, are we done picking on Nicole now? Or should we move on? Okay. Excuse me, are there any new agenda items that anyone would like to add to the agenda? I don't see any. Okay, we will move on from then. We now have, our unfinished business is our public outreach update, and I think you're going to give us our public outreach update. Yeah, so Kelly's gonna talk to us.
So hopefully you guys saw the packet, and I'm just gonna go through and explain. We had our electric bus ribbon cutting community event, which was great. I think we had a really good turnout, and it was really exciting to see everyone there and excited about our electric bus. I've been continuing my quest on Facebook and social media to do some more paid ads, and I just did another sequence of 3. So I did one for Sequim and Clallam residents, so that Sequim residents would know that they can get to Port Townsend in this area and on to Kitsap through Port Jefferson Transit. So that one did really good. We got lots of engagement. And then I did one opposite for Paulsville residents, letting them also know that in Kitsap area, you can get to Port Townsend and then on to Sequim Port Angeles, because I don't know if a lot of people know that. So that was also a good ad and had lots of engagement. And then I did one for the Brennan and Quilcene route, just to kind of let everybody know where that goes and all the stops along the way. So those were the.
Do you want to show them up on the screen or just talk about?
They were all in the packet, so hopefully you guys all saw them. With Mason. Oh, yes.
All that good stuff.
Yes. So far, in the packet, I did kind of a little graph just to show from September to January how many followers we've had. And to date, we have 941 followers on Facebook.
Great.
In September, it was 311, so it's really jumped. Instagram is up to 143 and Twitter is up to 60, which is good for Twitter because that one's a little bit more slow growing. And I have plans to do paid ads in Instagram and Twitter this year to help grow those audiences as well. And then I just put some goals there. I want to try to get up to 1,500 followers on Facebook, 500 on Instagram, and 100 on Twitter. So, and this is all through paid ads, and we put some flyers in the bus shelters that people can scan and get right to all of our social media accounts to follow us. And I've been seeing some random followers join, and I'm assuming and hoping it's from those flyers, so that's all helpful. So my plans for outreach for 2024, like I mentioned, continued paid ads on social media, just following or boosting important events or posts. We talked about possibly doing some quarterly ads in the Uptown Theater and maybe the Rose Theater because they have the ads that show up on the screen. We talked about a possibility of banners at Haynes Place Park and Ride. We have to find a good quality banner company because we had a now hiring a banner there, but we had some quality issues with it. So, but that's a good place for people to see what's going on, so we could switch it out quarterly and promote different items. We do have a LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn is a little more tricky, and I'm learning about LinkedIn, but that's a good place for us to promote for recruitment. And there's tons of people on there that are looking for jobs. So I'm learning more about LinkedIn and how to promote this better on there. So if you guys have a LinkedIn account, you can follow Jefferson Transit on there. And then I've just been working with Sarah and her group for internal collaboration on event outreach. And that's all that I have for that.
Thank you. Any questions? Who has a
Yes.
question?
And this just, we've talked about this in the past, but Port Townsend Keystone Ferry. And the time I've been on it during the summer several times, and there is no information about Port Townsend on there. And there's like one, I don't think, I was looking for even transit maps. And my question is there anywhere, and I talked to you offline about this in terms of public outreach, it seems like a low-hanging fruit to have some sort of information about zero fare transit when they get off the ferry. And the walk-off traffic during the summer, 'cause I live right down there, there's over 60+ people almost every ferry route when it comes in. And I don't know how many know about, Jefferson Transit. It would seem like a pretty easy place to post something.
We have tried to connect through the ferry advisory board, and we talked to them about having an announcement
Yeah.
and a flyer that we created.
Yeah,
and
they
we
have
get
done,
feedback.
not the ones I was on.
So, yeah, and I wrote it this summer too, and I was listening to the announcement, waiting, and I'm like, oh, I didn't mention, so I think that you did put that as an item on,
It's on our
plan for
2020.
this year, and I don't know if Nicole wants to add anything to that about the ferry and the flyer that we were trying to get
Okay,
feedback.
go ahead, Nicole.
We had, we had been working with the ferries on that, and I'm not sure where the disconnect was. I am on the Ferry Advisory Commission, so I feel like I have an in, but yeah, that's something that we'll continue to work on. I will say, just Washington State Ferries, they've had a bit of turnover, and they had a rough summer or a rough year, I think. But we will continue that effort to try to make sure that that there's some kind of an announcement. And maybe Kelly and I need to take a little trip over to Coopville and hang up some flyers. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's on our to-do list, if you will.
Thank you, Becky.
Just as, and I know this is getting a little into the weeds, but there is a section set up for visitor information and it's completely empty. And just even if we mounted a touch screen that just talked about town and the county and Jefferson Transit, it wouldn't have to be staffed. It would just be an an automatic info booth of some sort.
Yeah, that's
I just think that almost anything would help because they're walking right up to the bus stop when they come out the ferry.
Becky, go ahead.
Hi, Kelly, great work. That's a lot of great outreach.
Yes.
Is it possible, or what do you think about putting stuff on the local Facebook pages, the Port Townsend community Facebook, to kind of get people interested in riding the bus? Is that something you might be interested in doing?
Yeah, I have to look into that to see if from our business page, if we can share it, or because I'm not sure how that works from sharing from a business page, or if I have to share it from like a personal page. I think that's might have been what stopped me before, but yeah, I think that's actually a really good idea, so I can look into that.
And then there's social media, so there's Nextdoor as well. And I know that the county, I know.
Say that close.
That I see, like the fire department, has announcements and whatnot on Nextdoor. I think there's ways to post things without having comments. There's a way to do it so there'll be no comments. So that might be another way to get in touch with local folks. Anyway, just an idea, but you're doing a great job. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I have just one more quick question.
Let me
I'm
get
sorry.
hands up here first. Councilmember Thomas.
Hello. One role that members of a group like or the board can do is repost things too. I think it's nice to see coming from different people. And I know I saw a bunch of people posting the zero fare. A bunch of people on the board were reposting that. I think that can be healthy coming from the community.
For those of
Rather
you
than
that
just
have
from
followers,
Facebook.
it wouldn't do anything for me to post it. For those of you
Well,
that have followers.
Those community pages, it doesn't matter as much. It would be
Yeah.
anybody that goes on, those could see it. So, or Nextdoor. I don't go on the Nextdoor, it's too much. But
Okay,
that'd be good to repost there.
agreed. Thank you. Tim.
Yeah, great work, and I'm curious, has the particularly out of county social media and the ads, has that equated yet? Have you seen any bumps in ridership, or have you seen any changes?
I just did those ads, they just finished at the end of the year,
Okay.
so, I don't know if we could tell
Yeah.
soon, but maybe on the next ridership report, we might see an increase, but they definitely have a lot of engagement, and we got like over 350 more followers from those ads, so hopefully they will help to increase ridership.
Hope that puts people in seats.
Yes.
Yes. Any further questions on this topic, or shall we move on? I don't see any hands raised. Okay. We're going to move on into our new business. The first item of new business is our 2024 tag goals and work plan. And those are in the packet on page 22. Who would like to discuss this?
I think that you guys need to make a decision if you like what's on there or add or take away, and then vote to approve it.
Okay. Everybody got their proposed goals and work plan items out to discuss? Are there things on here you think we should not be doing this year? Are there things you would like to add that are not on here? Like I say, it's on page 22 of the packet. Brandon gave us a thumbs up. I don't see anything from anyone else.
I like the idea of riding the bus and
I do too, and I meant to do it, and I didn't. I really like the
I'll be
idea.
a secret shopper.
Well, I don't know if we're supposed to be secret. We're supposed to actually talk to other writers, right? And bring back their input. Isn't that what the ask is on that one?
Yeah, I think it's nice to talk to riders and let them know that who you are and if you're riding the bus, or no, I mean, you can do either or, but just giving us your feedback of what you see when
You might
you're
get
on the
yourself
bus.
thrown off the bus.
Yes, there you go. I mean, they're not asking much. Once a month, talk to somebody on the bus.
That's it.
You know, that shouldn't be too hard. Becky?
No, I think that's a great idea, once a month. When we're helping with the climate action plan and also incentivizing employers, which I love that idea, I have a personal project of my own to go to the major employers in the city and county, mostly in the city, and ask them to incentivize their employees to either ride the bus or walk or bike to work. So I think that I might be able to include something about transit when I go to this, or I would be more than happy to survey employees. I thought about going downtown and just asking employees what it would take to get them to ride the bus. I thought about walking around the port with a helmet on and ask them what it would take to get them on the bus, you know, and just ease them into the idea. And I think that that's would segue really beautifully with the van pools. But if we can't get people to walk or bike or get on a big bus, maybe we could get them to van pool. So I don't know, but I think it's all good
Good
stuff.
ideas. The helmet at the port, is that for personal safety or to look like you belong?
Both, but personal.
Both, okay.
Wear a life jacket too at the port.
There you go.
Go all in.
Okay, Brandon, do you
Helmet,
have
like-
further comment than that?
I do, yes. I really like to gather rider stories for spotlighting on social media. I'm pretty sure people who ride the bus a lot probably have some pretty fun bus stories. And it would be good for people like the general public to see that, you know, riding the bus is actually really quite safe and can actually be a pretty good time. You know, when I was riding the bus every day, I actually made quite a bit of friends. I couldn't stop myself from babbling at people, which I'm sure shocks most of you.
It's known as a captive audience.
Exactly. They can't get away.
Thank you. Councilmember Thomas?
Well, I was brought up as at the last T-Lab meeting. Does anybody remember Coyote Found Candles? The
Yes,
candle factory that was here in town.
yeah.
God, I expect, yeah. And they had those coyote bucks that would encourage their employees to, but I was an employee back then. We would get a coyote buck every day that we rode our bike, took the bus, or walked to work. And then you could spend that at places in town like Quimper Sound and places like that. And so you could redeem those for something. And it'd be interesting if some business would work with other business. You know, it takes multiple businesses working together on something like that, but it'd be interesting to kind of have transit as the centerpiece in that. It'd be kind of fun to see. I would be motivated to go to work if it was something like that, some little dangle there to
It's
make you think
a
extra hard.
a little hard for our transit to incentivize when we're already zero fare. But I suppose the businesses could incentivize. Yes,
Well, no, the idea is that you would redeem, the business would grant their employees these tokens or whatever, and they could use them in other businesses in town, not on the bus.
Yeah.
But
Good.
you, just by taking the bus to work, anyway, just as part of the, what Becky was talking about there, I
Part
think,
of the work,
I could
okay.
see you could work multiple businesses together. It's a bigger project, but it'd be kind of fun to, if transit was a member in that, just as,
Mhm.
in terms of promoting it, it could be fun to see.
Kind of similar to when, you know, when you had a sticker on your bike helmet, whatever, and you get a free apple at the co-op. Right, kind of like that?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Or if you have the pin, oh, I don't have my pin on, but
Yeah.
transit pin, right?
yeah,
Get some.
Good.
I would also just like to add, you know, a lot of times when I'm out there riding the bus, I become aware of maybe things that aren't that convenient to riding the bus, if that makes sense. And I try to be aware of, you know, how do I feel that if I'm standing at this bus shelter after, you know, the Mountain View bus shelter after the pool meeting where we were all at the pool, and it was really dark, and I thought, man, it's really dark out here. Do I like standing out here in the dark? Every time I get out there and I'm on the bus, I either think, gosh, this really works smoothly, or ooh, could we be doing something better here, or making this experience better here or there? So I guess my hope is that if you're out there, when you're out there riding the bus, what's really helpful for staff is if you get feedback like, oh, I don't ride the bus because I don't like generalities. I really like concrete feedback, or feedback that I can do something with. It's really hard when, well, the bus isn't convenient, because I don't know what that means. Is it not convenient because it doesn't go by your house? Is it not convenient because, you know, we're only there every hour? Maybe, so if you're getting that kind of feedback, maybe just ask 1 or 2 follow-up questions. What would make it more convenient, or what would get you on the bus? So like kind of maybe doing a little bit of digging. That's what I find to be really helpful. But when we get feedback and it feels like I can't do anything with that feedback, or I don't have a way to follow up, it can be just a little challenging. So please ask those follow-up questions. Or if you're riding, and maybe you typically don't ride, but if you're riding and you notice something, or something that may be helpful to us, even if it's critical, we'd like to know. So you can feel free to either email Kelly or myself. But we want to hear that feedback, because we do collect that type of feedback. But if you're hearing it either at tabling events, or if you're out on the bus and you feel like, oh, okay, so you said it's not convenient, but okay, but what does that mean? You know, what would make it more convenient for you? And it might be something we can do. It might not be. I mean, there's some things we just can't do. I mean, I don't know how many times people say, well, if you had a ferry, and it's like, well, I can't make a ferry, but you know, can we look at adjusting where we have a bus stop? I can do that. I can't create a ferry system. So that would just be my hope, is that when you're out there talking to people, just concrete information, it's more helpful to us.
Thank you. Brandon?
Yeah, you know, I found when I'm out there talking to people and, you know, they start talking about convenience and things like that, and I really get to dig into what their issues are, a lot of times I can help them find a really convenient solution. You know, but sometimes it's obvious. It's like, I live on Marrowstone, and I'm like, well, there's not going to be a bus going to Marrowstone anytime soon that I'm aware of. So yeah, I get what you're saying about people just saying, oh, it's just inconvenient. Well, what's inconvenient about it? You know, I was talking to one coworker who rode the bus for the first time in a long time. And it turns out, you know, she was kind of complaining about the convenience of it. Turns out she was just taking the completely wrong bus. I was like, no, you just got to take this one. Like, you don't, it's a straight shot. It's easy peasy. So yeah, worth it to learn the system if you're talking to people about this stuff.
Councilmember Thomas, you had your hand up and it went away. Are you finished?
It was left over. Now
Oh,
I did it again
okay.
by accident, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anything we want to add or remove from our goals and our work plan items? Everybody's satisfied with what we think we're going to be able to do, or at least part of what we think we're going to be able to do?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Okay,
Move to accept the goals and work items.
do we have a second?
Second.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, or shall we vote? All in favor of moving our work plan items, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Approved unanimously. Thank you. Okay, back to the agenda. Okay, our new website process and timeline, and who is going to talk us through that? I think that's probably help. What page is that? Page 13 of the packet, if anybody needs to find it.
Okay, so as we mentioned a few times, we are moving forward with a new website, which is super exciting. Our RFP went out on the 2nd, yesterday, so it will be open for a couple weeks. All proposals are due back to us on the 19th. So then we will be reviewing proposals and choosing probably 3 or 4 agencies to do demos with, and hoping to have demos completely done and have somebody chosen by the February board meeting so that we can have the board member approve an agreement with the agency that we choose. And then design, build out, and training is what takes the longest time. I think it's 28 weeks is what one company told me.
Wow.
That's probably worst case scenario, but it is very time consuming to build out a new website. So with that in mind, our anticipated go live would be around August 10th. So it kind of just depends how everything falls into place and how quickly we can get it built out and get everyone trained. So it's tentative go live, it could change. We're going to do community outreach through July into August before the go live. And we would like 2 members of this group to join a subcommittee, like a work group to help us with key tasks and kind of along the way. So if there's any volunteers from this group that would like to help, please.
What tag members would like to volunteer to assist? I'm not seeing very many hands raised.
I'll do it. Yeah,
We have one.
Got one.
We, David volunteers. Is there a second?
can we get someone from the county?
I really would like to be part of the subcommittee.
You would?
I would, yeah.
Can we have 2 engineers on one committee? Will you guys play nice?
You shouldn't. Bad idea.
Yeah, it's not a good
Okay,
idea.
I believe we have David and
Cool.
Brandon as our subcommittee members, if that's all right with
Okay.
everybody.
Me and Dave get along pretty good though, so that's should be fine.
I will reach out to you guys with specifics and details, and we will just keep the tag group updated at each meeting on the progress and what's going on. And there will be a time before it goes live that we will be asking you all to try it out, test it, look at it, and just give us your feedback. But we'll definitely be getting feedback along the way. So thank you for volunteering for our subcommittee.
Yes, very much. Thank you very much. Okay. That was painless. Climate action plan update. I believe this must be Nicole.
Yes. So I think we had talked about in our November, was it that long ago? November meeting about the climate action plan and kind of where we were at that point. And I'll let Commissioner Dean feel free to chime in if I missed something. But Commissioner Dean and Cindy Jane were also on the selection committee. We identified 3 consultants. After interviews, we chose one consultant, Peak Sustainability. We had a scoping meeting with them. The board authorized me to sign a contract with Peak, which we did in December. We have our kickoff meeting, I think in about 2 weeks, with Peak Sustainability. They're already starting. They're hard at work as we speak. So we've been getting them some documents that they've requested. It's an ambitious timeline. Right now, our goal is to complete the plan in December. But in order to do that, we're going to have to hit some milestones along the way. What we really enjoyed about this consultant was their approach for community outreach, for helping to educate the public, and making sure that we were getting their feedback along the way. We're really looking at this as, this is a climate action plan for Jefferson Transit, but it is also for the larger community. When Jefferson Transit does well and Jefferson Transit has increased ridership, that directly impacts the community. If we're able to lower vehicle miles traveled for the community, that means more people are riding the bus, our greenhouse gas emissions are going down. That's directly impacting the community. So we're looking at it as kind of a, this is a plan for Jefferson Transit. Jefferson Transit staff will be able to work towards some concrete goals, but we're also looking at how is this impacting our community, and what can we be doing as an agency to help the community reach its goals. So we're really excited about that. We'll be including TAG along the way. We've committed to having meetings monthly, and Commissioner Dean will be joining us with that. We'll also be having stakeholder groups. We'll be interviewing, the consultants will be interviewing community members kind of throughout the process. We'll also be making sure that we're getting out into the community. So when we're holding public outreach, that we'll be doing that in different parts of the county to make sure that we're get really a broad perspective. So making sure we're in South County, we're in the Tri-area, and we're in Port Townsend as well. We'll be holding a hybrid meeting, so those that maybe can't attend in person will also have a way to attend, but also in-person meetings as well. So some will, I think, involve the consultants and some might not be. It might be staff going out into the community as well, but really trying to make sure that we're connecting with the community to make this a plan that will be well received. Commissioner Dean, what have I missed?
We definitely have asked them to identify an opportunity to engage with TAG. So probably a presentation or workshop, something along those lines. So we will probably get back to you soon with some ideas or dates for that. And then I just want to acknowledge that I'm guilty of wanting to see this plan serve a lot of different roles, and my goal early on was like, how can we use this plan to really like change ridership, really move the needle? And Nicole's had to consistently and gently remind me, like, we need to have this be a success and have, really have the scope largely be things that Jefferson Transit can be doing and has some ability to find success with. And I think we want to keep that end goal in mind of like the outreach and the materials provided, that those can be part of a narrative about choosing transit as a way of reducing individuals' carbon footprint, but that really the goal needs to be on kind of the operations of Jefferson Transit and that ability to kind of meet the goals of a plan instead of saying like, hey, here's this ambitious plan, public, are you going to help us meet it or not? So I know both will be part of the process, but I have to manage my own expectations so that it can be successfully implemented.
And I think that at times, I also need to think broader. So we'll be a good sounding board on this project. I won't think too small, and Commissioner Dean can help me think a little bit broader. But you know, but the truth is the more people that we can get on the bus, the better it is for the community. So you know, really ridership is tied into kind of everything that we're doing, and it's I think that's really how we're going to impact the community. But really excited about this plan, and I'm trying not to say that too many times in my emails to Peak, but I really am excited that that we identified this in our long range plan, and now this is a big project for us this year, but we're really excited about it. So we'll definitely include TAG in this project. So yeah, be on the lookout for some emails and correspondence from us and ways to be involved.
Is there some sort of structure that you would want some members to sign up for a subcommittee? We have some pretty good climate folks on this group that we could have them sign up if you want a subcommittee.
I think I will know more and have a better feel after our first meeting, which will be coming up in a few weeks. But I know that there's a lot of talent in this group, and I'm so thankful. Again, have I said that? I'm so thankful that all of you are here. So we'll definitely be tapping into this group for some assistance. I just don't know what that looks like just yet, but be on the lookout for some emails if that kind of help is needed prior to the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Any further, go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Dean about, you know, wanting to use these consultants rather than what they're hired to do. But we have at least 2 consulting projects that are requiring, you know, face-to-face community input, along with what's going on with social media and the you know, one of the other big projects that just blew my mind. But if we may not get new riders, but they're certainly going to hear about Jefferson Transit this coming year. It's going to be on everybody's lips. I mean, between the new website and these consulting groups, yeah, people are going to, you know, be face to face with transit, and I think that's great. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Any further Oh, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I just want to be a broken record here for both Ben and Kate, that transit to be successful really needs to be the more convenient way to get around. And currently, city and county policies everywhere, in fact, state, federal, make it more convenient to drive. And the key one there, of course, is your parking requirements. Your off-street parking requirements basically require every development to provide a space or more space for parking a car than is necessary. We have 8 spaces per car in this country, and I'm sure that falls pretty much into what we've got here in this city or in the county. So, you know, unless you guys help us do your part, transit's always going to be marginal until you kind of get in that boat and row against the 100 years of free and ubiquitous parking.
Yes.
No need to respond, except in committee.
Yes.
I've got the sermon memorized. Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate your broken record, Scott.
We do, yes. We do.
Any further comment on this? We will look forward to hearing what we get to do next. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to tabling for 2024. That's on page 12 of the packet, if anybody needs to find it in the packet. They've given us our usuals, the farmers markets, the fairs, and then other, any ideas for other? Are you looking for us to sign up now? Because this is not till April.
Not right now, but I guess think about it, and maybe if you guys want to tell me dates that you would be available to do any of these, and that way I can kind of put it together and see where we have enough people, and then once it's open to schedule the farmer's market, I can get on it right away and get that scheduled. And then just FYI, there might be other events that we are doing throughout the year, and as those come up, we might reach out to you and just ask if you guys are available for volunteering.
Okay, can we send our preferred times to you
Yes,
and
please.
separate emails and, okay.
Yeah.
Ben has his hand up. Council member?
I'm not
Thomas?
sure if everybody's aware that Kate and I are on the fairgrounds board as well. It's this one, and I see an asterisk next to the fair entry there on the tabling. What does the asterisk mean?
I don't know. What does the asterisk mean
Oh,
after it's Jefferson County Fair?
We also have the big conference in August. And so a lot of staff members are gone at that time, especially managers. It's the public transportation conference. So we might need more help during that fair for volunteers because the staff
You
members
guys won't be here.
as available.
So it's a pay for help, that's what they asked.
Yeah. The asterisk is a plea for help.
Thanks for reminding me.
Great,
Yes. Becky?
and it's 3 days straight, so that's
Yeah.
a lot of
Okay.
Yeah.
tabling time.
No, it's fun.
You
So,
did?
I just so appreciate that you feel that way.
yeah, well, I mean, most of it's fun. But I don't think we'll have any trouble manning, oh, bad word, staffing the fair with volunteers. I would be willing, and so
Yeah.
not to worry about having staff out there.
Please send the dates that you think you would like to work to Kelly, and she can twist our arms for the ones that nobody signed up for. And if you have
Also-
go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking again about the employers. Maybe we could try again at the port. I talked to them before about it, and we would do that in the summer. So Kelly, if I get approval for it, I'll just email you. Is that okay?
Yeah, please keep me posted on
Oh, yeah.
that and details for it, and then we can work together to make it happen.
Yeah, I would like to see us table some employers this year if we can, but I don't know any of them, so. Anything else here?
So are we missing, what are we missing? Is there somewhere that we should be where we haven't been? I know the summer, it feels like every weekend, there's something happening. And I'm, if you don't have an answer for me right now, that's fine. Maybe you can just email us like, oh, have you thought about this? But I really do think that time that we've spent at the Chimacum Farmers Market, Port Townsend Farmers Market, I think the fair, it's just so nice to be out there talking to people. And I'm just wondering, like, if you're pondering it or you're thinking, oh gosh, I'm at this event here and Jefferson Transit's not here. If there is somewhere else you think we should be, send Kelly or I a quick email or suggestion, and we can work on trying to make that happen.
I would say that these are the best ones. We tried high school football
games, yeah.
games, and we tried concerts on the dock, and nobody wanted to talk to us at either place. They had other things
Football
they wanted
game.
to do.
They talked to us.
They talked to you, they didn't talk to me. I was the one sitting at the table. So I think the ones you have are the best ones, and if anyone else has a good idea, please speak up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tim could clue us in on some cool golf course events that we're having at the golf course, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Can we come table at the golf course for an event?
yes. Certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else on this subject? Looks like we're done there. Okay, we have now moved on to unexcused absence. And it's on page 23 of the packet. Not just you,
Okay.
but our bylaws are pretty explicit. So it is the responsibility of a TAG member to inform the chairperson or recording secretary whether or not they can attend a regular meeting. Unexcused absence from 2 regular meetings in a 12-month period shall constitute resignation from TAG. Can we start clean at this meeting and go forward? And say, please let Kelly know if you can't come to a meeting? And so we don't waste other people's time, everybody? Is there anything further you'd like to say about that, Kelly?
Just FYI, if there are any issues with emails, I know that sometimes there can be with technology, you never know what happens.
That's right.
If you are not getting emails from me, please call me or let me know. I do send the packet out the Thursday before every meeting. Once in a while, it might go out on the Friday. So if you don't see a packet,
Contact you.
contact me, maybe something was wrong or it didn't go through. You can also always see the packets once they're posted on the website. And I always try to resend the invite the day of the meeting too, just so it goes out like a half an hour before, just to kind of remind everybody. So,
And our meeting dates and times are listed on the website. And it's a good idea to sit down with your calendar in January and put every one of them on your calendar so you don't schedule over the top of it. And so that you can come to the meeting. Ben?
Since you're always trying to retain and get more members, what if the penalty was something else besides being booted from the committee, like having to table at every event? Set up the table.
Well,
This
This is in our bylaws, so if you want to change our bylaws, you're one of the people that can do that. If you would like to employ punishments other than removal, I think that would be a great idea. So perhaps
That's
authority board would like to review our bylaws and make suggestions. Brandon?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the penalty is a little bit harsh. You could have a warning period before expulsion. But I also think it's perfectly reasonable for people to transit that we can't make it. And I was thinking maybe we could June, like the day of the meeting or something like.
You're freezing up. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, sorry, my internet connection is bad. Maybe we could set like a time, like prior to noon, like we're notifying them before a regular meeting, like 4:59, you know?
Well, it's unexcused absences we're talking about. It's just let staff know that you're not going to be here. That's an excused absence. They're not complaining about excused absences. They're just complaining about unexcused absences.
But letting them know at like 4:59 PM, like a minute before the meeting starts, isn't very helpful.
Well, I think you're saying there should be a deadline, the day.
A deadline to let you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's what he was trying to say.
I
Just
think
some
that's
guidance, and if, maybe we set it and we can still be a little flexible on it.
Yeah. But again, this is in our bylaws.
That's a little vague, and the punishment is a little too harsh.
Okay, authority board. Would you fix our bylaws for us, please? Thank you.
Excuse me, as the culprit in here, as the.
You're the only culprit.
Well, but as a transgressor, and if it's awkward, I have no problem resigning. That's not an issue. I would still participate and do things, but if we want to keep the bylaws on the up and up, that's not a problem for me to resign.
I don't want you to resign.
Oh.
I want you to show up.
Well, I know that, but I have excuses, but none of them are excusable, so I'm here now. But my point is, if there's an issue here at the board, please, that's not an issue for me.
Okay. Any
And
further on? Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's the calling and telling us that you have a scheduling conflict, because we're all very busy people and there's scheduling conflicts. But if we don't hear from someone, and then that's a repeated pattern, then I do think that there should be some kind of consequence for if you're not participating, in these meetings. And I think if we want to change the bylaws, we should probably, or this group should probably suggest changes to the board, not have the board. I don't think that that's something that the board would need to do. I think it's something that this group would need to talk about what the language should be, and then present that to the board. I I will say, I don't know that, that if someone is calling and telling us that they're having a problem coming, that's excused. That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
I know that all of us will have meetings that we can't attend to. So I'm not sure if the language really does need to change, but I think the message really is call us if you're not able to join the meeting, so we'll know whether or not we have a quorum.
I think that's a good message. Do we want to add it to our next agenda to try to change the language? If we follow what you're describing, I don't think we need to change anything.
Well, I think you have to change the language. If I'm still here, you have to change the language because it says you're supposed to be resigning if you miss 2 in a row.
It says.
Yeah, I think a strict interpretation of the bylaws would say that. I think we should change the language and make it a little bit more flexible.
Why don't we put it on our next agenda as an item that we discuss and recommend some language change perhaps to the authority board to approve? Is that all right?
That sounds great.
Okay. We will do that then. Anything further on unexcused absences? Nope. Okay, we are down on new business to item F, which is discussion versus on the mass notification software, and that's who's gonna talk about that?
I was gonna talk about that.
Okay, great.
Hi there. I just wanted to give you an update. I wanted you to let you know that your message was heard about our rider alerts, and we're looking into some new software. It's going to be a kind of a quick turnaround time, but we're really looking to make sure we're finding something that's going to be a little more reader friendly. That's going to have some templates to take away some of the errors and typing, and as we go through the process, I'll keep you updated, and I'd like to get some input about what they look like when they come out and how we can keep improving on it. Our goal is to really have the public be able to use them and make sure that it's as user friendly as client friendly as possible. So quick update, but I'll be in touch as we know more, and I appreciate all the feedback I got last time.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions for Sarah? No? Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, we are going to move on to ridership report. What lucky person is going to give us the ridership report?
I can go ahead and give the ridership report. And this is these are the reports that were given to the board. So I don't have the final information for December, so I can't give you a comprehensive look at 2023. But I can through November of 2023. Overall, the numbers are looking better. Again, our Brennan numbers are still the numbers that that route is outperforming our other routes. So I won't go through each graph. You're more than capable of looking through that yourself, and we had color coded, and we'll try to do something similar for 2024 as well. Halfway through 2024, I think our numbers will look slightly different because we're going to be able to incorporate some of the new runs that we added in June of this year. So there'll be some changes there. But again, we're not where we were in 2019. And I will say one area that I'm a little bit disappointed in is our number 11 A and B route. And I'm kind of curious too, if I've been hearing that our shelter might be closing downtown, and if that will be affecting our number 11 ridership. But that's the number 11 is really where I would like to see some focus next year, is how do we get more people on the bus who are going downtown? And we know that ridership was there at one point because we can see it from 2019. So I think that's going to be key for staff, is trying to really understand why we haven't been able to build that ridership back up to 2018 levels. Looking through the graphs, you know, I'm sure you've noticed that JTalk ridership is way down. This year, we are looking for opportunities to head out to the West End to see, you know, about tabling events. Can, you know, their festivals or their opportunities for us to increase our presence on the West End and really try to attract back some of our ridership. I'm not sure where those folks have gone. It's a little unclear to us as to why more of our ridership did not come back to us. So that'll be a focus point in 2024. But other than that, I'll let you look through the numbers on your own. But those were just some of the highlights.
Okay, thank you. Scott? You gonna say parking?
I just wanted to say to Ben that the number 11 A and B route is really in his park, is his ballpark. The city's got to get cracking on downtown parking management. Otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise we're just going to have people circulating downtown, creating lots of traffic, looking for that available space, not a free space, available space, instead of taking the bus.
Yep.
God, let's get on it. All right,
And
thanks.
I would like to say just briefly about the West End again. The goal is, I'd really like to get somebody on the West End on this group. I mean, yes, we can go out there and table, but it would also be nice to have someone that is connected into using JTalk to be able to be up there on the screen now that we have remote access and actually start asking them, what can we do to get more of your colleagues on the bus? So I know none of us seems to know how to reach out there, but if somebody would think about that, I'd really appreciate it, because I'd love to have someone from that area in this group to be able to tell us how to better reach that community. I've never been to the West End, I will admit it. So, anything further here?
Debbie, maybe that's your first ride. Hop on
Yeah.
in Forks. You can do the round trip.
The round trip takes a couple days, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, if you
Oh, I
get
know, it's beautiful.
if you get yourself to Forks, you can go down and back. It's interesting to see where we go. You know, that route will go into the Hoh, you know, onto tribal land. It stops at the Claylock Lodge. It stops at the Queet store and Amanda Park. But it's sparsely populated. It really is a tricky area. There's, you know, we're not pulling into communities. It's a tricky area, and I think that's our challenge. We're up for it.
No, wait, no, Amanda Park has got a lot of activity. The grocery store.
The gas station, grocery store, yes, lots of
Becky?
activity.
Maybe we promote it more from here. You know, we have a community full of people who are retired and might be interested in taking the bus to the Hoh, and we could, you know, like talk to the Claylock Lodge. Maybe we could get a little promotion going on with a hotel, or I don't know. We could get people from this county, I mean, not from this county, but from Port Townsend to go out there and check it out.
Well, Tim wants to have it somehow to have completely around the peninsula transit connections.
We put one of those together.
So you can't leave until you do that.
Yeah, we can completely circumnavigate the Olympic Peninsula on 5 transit lines, I think.
Yeah. So let's think about that some more, because I would really like to figure out how we can involve the West End, and we clearly need to increase our ridership out there. Ben?
And a great opportunity with Clallam going fare free as well, to work
Yes.
with them to help communicate that, because you can go right from Port Townsend out all the way out there for free.
Yeah. And Mason is already zero fare, right? So, no?
I'm not sure, Nicole.
Yeah.
They had a pilot program that I think was being completed at the end of 2023.
Okay.
But I haven't heard that they're not going fare free from Amy, their general manager. I think that it was pretty popular. So I think almost all of their routes are fare free, and I would be surprised if they didn't move in that direction.
Okay. Well, think about it because they're part of our transit system and I'd really like to engage them more and get more people on the bus. We're all paying those taxes. Scott?
Once upon a time, I took the bus over to Amanda Park and then hitched up in National Park from there and walked back to Brennan. It was a wonderful 1 week's walk that, well, it goes up the Enchanted Valley, crosses over Anderson Pass, and then comes back out the Dos Wallops South Fork. Is it the West Fork? I can't remember. Just a wonderful trip that could be sold. Seems like to me across the world. You know, the naked girl in the picture there.
Say what?
See, I saw a naked girl in the picture there.
He's a boy, but
Oh, as a boy,
Boy.
can't cut his hair. It's-
you know, I couldn't
His eyes
see-
aren't that good anymore, Ben. It's okay.
Well, he had pants on, but yeah.
Okay. Looks to me like, where are we at? We are at, anything further on this? It looks like we are up to agenda planning for our next meeting. We have one item. We're going to talk about our bylaws in terms of absences. Anything else that you would like to add to agenda planning for next meeting? Any staff or? No?
I would like to, I don't want to make it a steady agenda item to have a bus ride report. Yes, sir.
Bus ride report.
Yeah.
So y'all better get on the bus. I like that. Anybody else have something to add? Okay. All right, okay. Nothing else? I don't see any hands up. Oh, Ben.
Well, I just want to say thanks for letting me sit in on this meeting. This has been really good for me to see. I'm sorry it's taken me 2 years before I took a turn on this meeting here, but it's been great. It's great to get the input, and it's a really good crew of folks. So
I think we're always really happy to have the authority board join us and give us some insights as to where you'd like to see us go. So, welcome, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Okay. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is March 6th. Put it on your calendar now so you don't miss it, or so you call Kelly and say, I'm not going to be there. I need an excused absence. Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment? Is there any public there? Nope. My goodness, I think we're going to finish early. Okay, well, I think that is the end of it. Any board comments for the good of the order? Any authority board comments or group comments for the good of the order? John, I haven't heard much from you.
Well, I did think of something when we were talking about websites.
Okay.
Nicole, when you and I met before I became a member of the group, you were talking about some websites that you thought were in other transit authorities that you thought were exceptional. And I thinking, well, maybe it would be good for us to look at some of those as we're moving into making some changes to our website.
Kelly, can we have 3 people on a subcommittee?
Yeah, there's 7 of us, so we can have
There's
3.
4 as a quorum.
Yeah.
So John, would you be interested in helping us work on the website, or just be part of that subcommittee?
Yeah, I think I should do that.
Okay, I think that would be great to have your input on kind of the design process.
Yes.
So I'll have Yeah, Kelly, we'll add John to that subcommittee.
Okay.
I think that'd
Three
be
a good
great.
number too, because we're probably guaranteed to get at least two.
Hmm.
If someone
Great.
can't make it or whatever.
Okay,
Perfect.
yeah. Anything
Okay.
else for the good of the order?
I think we covered a lot today very efficiently, so
We
job.
try not to
I'm
waste
impressed.
anybody's time. We're never gonna solve Scott's parking problem here, but we're happy to hear about it.
Oh, every little bit helps.
Yep, it does.
When I was talking, Kate was nodding her head, so that's good.
Yep.
I don't understand why more people don't take that bus, because I'll go to lengths to avoid trying to park downtown.
You and me both.
Every time I go, I park at Quimper Mercantile and then I'll walk.
No. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, I think this is probably time to adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. We're done 4 minutes early. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Happy New Year,
Thank
everybody.
you all.
Thank you all.
Bye.
I
Personally, I think if people have an excuse to absence, that they should have to table every table.